Alright guys, so I think I'm good on YouTube. So I'm basically just kind of testing the streaming capabilities right now, which is perfectly fine. It looks like it's working the way that I want it to. Uh, I have already started on the. It's mostly set up for the app brewery Udemy course that I purchased off of Udemy. And today I am just trying to get through the local environment setup. And then tomorrow it looks like I start the intro into HTML. So I am attempting to make sure that these recordings are starting at either 8:30, well, because I don't get off work till 8, so about 8:30 Mountain Time, and maybe run until 9:30ish or 10:30, depending on how deep I get into it, and if there's anyone here with me to kind of hang around or something like that, then I will most certainly hang on a little bit longer than normal. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this whole setup process. So we're in the video. Just as a quick reminder, like I said, I'm using Udemy, and this is the title of the course up here. So feel free to go pick it up. It's not sponsored by it or anything like that. It's just it seemed like it was a good course because it had a lot of ratings and a whole bunch of different, whole bunch of projects to work with. So I'm going to try it, and like I said, hopefully I can get through this. And I'm on set 8 right now. Majority of the stuff above it that I did through the Twitch stream was just kind of redundant how websites work type stuff. So this part is going to be like the computers, the setup and everything like that. So let me go ahead and get started on it.
Pretty much full time during this course. There's two major tools that we'll rely on, and that is going to be the Chrome browser and the Atom text editor. And between these two tools, we're going to achieve a lot. Later on in the course, when we're introducing more advanced concepts such as using the command line or using a database, then we'll install other things as we go along. But to get started, the most important applications we need to install are just these two. Now, you might already have Chrome installed, but if you don't, then be sure to check out the Web Development Course Resources list, which I'll link to in this current lesson. And it's really, really important that you check over here, because every single time I mention a link or every single time I try to point you towards something, the links will show up over here and you'll be able to click on it to save you all the trouble of having to type it all out. Open up this page in your browser and just click on this link to go ahead and download and install Chrome. And that should be pretty simple, and it will guide you through the process. Now, if you're wondering, do I have to use Chrome? What if I already have Firefox installed? Or what if I want to use Safari? Normally, I would say that's completely fine. But in this case, because we're going to use some of the developer tools inside Chrome, and I want you to be able to do it step by step along with me while watching the videos, it's best in this case to just simply download and use Chrome. So now that you've downloaded the browser you need, the next step is to install a code editor. And out there are so many different code editors. For example, Atom or VS Code, Sublime, Brackets, and if you think about it, all that you need to actually write code is just some form of text editor. So you could, if you really wanted to, even use something like Notepad. But the downside of Notepad is it doesn't have all of the great features that some of these other specialized code editors have. So two of my favorite are Atom and VS Code, and I use both of them pretty regularly. Now, in the course videos, you'll see me use Atom, but if you have a strong preference towards any other code editor that you're already used to that you want to use instead, then feel free to do that. But if you are a complete beginner to programming, then I recommend we go ahead and install the Atom text editor. And it's completely free to download and install. So if you just head over to atom.io or go through the Web Development Course Resource list, then you should land on this page. And it very cleverly figures out what system you have that you're running. Now, if you're a Windows user and you head over to atom.io, you'll see that it'll automatically detect that you are viewing this on a Windows computer, and then you can just go ahead and again click that big yellow download button, and you should end up with something that's called something like atom setup.exe. and you'll be able to see this in your downloads folder. So now if you just double click on that, and it will automatically do everything it needs to install Atom on your system. So once you're done, it should open up a new Atom window like so, and you would have successfully installed Atom. So now as a Windows user, you are done installing Chrome and Atom, and you can head over to the next lesson where we install some packages to power up our Atom code editor. For a Mac user, continue listening, and I'm going to show you the same process but on Mac OS. So all you have to do is just go ahead and click download.
All right,
now
so
that we've
let's go ahead and move
installed
over.
Atom, the next step is to power it up with packages. So you can see that they have over 8,000 packages, which are bunches of code that other programmers have written to make your experience of using Atom better. So what we're about to do is a bit like that 90s installed Atom. The next step is to power it up with packages. So you can see that they have over 8,000 packages, which are bunches of code that other programmers have written to make your experience of using Atom better. So what we're about to do is a bit like that 90s MTV show, Pimp My Ride. We're going to improve our code editor using these additional components and add-ons. It's almost like we're upgrading the sound system to our car. Now, the simplest thing for us to do when we want to install a package is to simply open up Atom, and in the welcome guide here, you should be able to see this install a package section, which we can click on, and then we can click on open installer, and that will take us to the correct position in the settings menu. Now, if you're on Windows and you want to be able to navigate back to here, the easiest way is to go to File, and then go to Settings, and then you'll find the same panel and you can click on Install. And in order to install the packages, all we have to do is to type their name into the search bar, and then it will search the entire library of packages, and we're able to install, uninstall, or change its settings. So again, if you head back over to the web development course resource list, you'll see that there is a list of Atom packages that we want you to install. And these are the ones which are recommended, and these are the ones which are optional. And then if you search for each of these packages, for example, starting with atom-turn.js, then you should be able to find and install these packages into your Atom code editor. And if you have any problems at all during the installation process, take a look back at that Google Drive document where we've got troubleshooting tips and advice as well. So now, as a Windows user, you are done installing Atom, installing Chrome, and also the Atom packages. And you can safely skip the rest of the video and continue to the next lesson.
Alright, so let's take some time out to install all of these packets. I should, in theory, have looked to make sure as to where it was actually installing this stuff. I don't suspect it installed it anywhere anywhere crazy, so it should be fine. I do need to upgrade my a lot of different variations. I do need to upgrade my actual system one day, as far as the size of, there we go, the size of the OS card, so I can put more stuff on it, even though I generally don't like to put stuff on it. But it always puts stuff on it, no matter what you do. So this is really hard to get around that. UEdge -EJS. Alright, so just want to emphasize it's not necessary, like I'm not going to be doing any tutorials because I don't know how to code. However, as I learn, it's always good to try to kind of teach things, you know, as you learn things, because it gives you a better grasp of it, opposed to where let's take a look at do these optional ones, opposed to just kind of drying and blasting through it. dash HTML. So that way tomorrow when I start everything up for like the official coding part, I would at least be ready to go. So I don't know that I will push through all of the, I don't know that I'll push through like where I'm sitting here watching the video the whole time and people are just simply watching me. I may just only go live when I'm actively working on something. Because that seems like that would make a little bit more sense. But if someone comes through and they see the video and decide that perhaps it's best for me to just kind of document the entire process, then that's perfectly fine. Like the only thing I'm really very cool. One thing I'm really concerned about the most is going to be, like copyright type stuff. Like if I get in trouble for listening to the videos and doing it at the same time, that might become an issue. So then I would have to find a workaround for it. But let's go ahead and see where we are in the program and let that install all of the stuff. Close that to the side so I can see this. All right, so this is the one we just finished.
All right, guys, it's Angela from the App Brewery again. So
let's check this one and see what this is.
now, if you are a Mac user, all you have to do is open up. So at this stage, I'm presuming that you've probably at some point in your life done a tutorial or a lesson somewhere else out there on the internet. And inevitably, at some point, you'll probably get stuck on a problem. Now, I spend a lot of time thinking about how to make the course such that you get stuck less often. But with programming, it's almost a core part of the learning process that you do get stuck and you get yourself unstuck. So I tend to find that when I get stuck on something, I try to see it as a challenge. Because usually when I solve it and when I figure it out, there is a huge sense of satisfaction and there's usually some associated growth. Now, having taught over 100,000 students online and offline, I've seen people struggle in lots of different ways. And I just wanted to summarize the steps that you can go through when you get stuck on any sort of programming problem and the framework that you can use to get yourself unstuck in the quickest way possible. Now, the first step is to evaluate what is the expectation versus what is the reality. What did you expect your code to do, or what did you expect to happen, and what actually happened? So every time you run your code, think to yourself, what do I expect to happen? And then see what really happened and try to figure out what is causing the difference. Now, while you're writing code, it's inevitable that you'll end up creating errors. And this can happen when you've made a mistake or spelled something wrong, or even when you're just trying to install a piece of software. And those errors are usually accompanied by bits of text or the error message. And you can see this in your browser or in your code editor. And most of the time, it might seem like these error messages are written by aliens because they don't seem to make any sense. But you can quite easily figure out the human meaning in English for it by just putting it into Google. And you'll usually get lots of different answers as to what the cause might be and how you can fix the problem.
So I'm going to basically stop the process here. So in my normal job, I do quite a bit of server work and troubleshooting. I'm not a server admin, so I don't know like all of the heavy server stuff. I work with just basic shared hosting and dedicated servers every now and then. So Googling stuff and Stack Overflow, GitHub, and places like that are things that I'm already familiar with. So I'll listen to it offline because there's no real reason to be live with it and waste time. So basically, I will pick up right here tomorrow. So I'll pick up right here tomorrow, which is section 2, Intro to HTML. So tomorrow we will be messing around with HTML. So you guys have a good night and may your day, because it's nighttime here, So if wherever you're going to be, make tonight be profitable or tomorrow be profitable, but make the money, learn something new, and live your best life. Peace.